Hello and welcome to another episode of our Wednesday webinar hosted by Grand Canyon University's Canyon Professional Development. I am your host, Corey Araza, and I am thrilled to be here with a very special guest today to talk about a very special, and I might say most important topic called character education. Dr. Ashley Betkowski is with us today from the College of Education here at Grand Canyon University, and she is here to talk to us about what is most important. I think they said what you learn in kindergarten will stay with you for your life, and that is your character. So developing character and developing character education, and the amount of free goodies she has for all of us to use in our classroom as early as tomorrow. So Dr. Betkowski, welcome. I'm so thrilled that you're here with us today to talk about this very special and important topic, especially in the day of artificial intelligence. So I know that you started us off with a quote, or you chose a quote that means something to you. Would you get us started with our learning today and tell us why this is important to you?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me today. I chose two quotes. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education, by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all, from Aristotle. I chose these two quotes because a huge aspect of character education is remembering why you got into education. As most educators would say, it was about making an impact, a lasting impact, developing the whole child. And in character education, we say that teaching is a moral endeavor. We're here not just to educate through academics, but to educate the whole child.
Oh, and so true, especially now. I'm not sure that all our parents or our educators know kind of where we are headed with so much technology.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's jump right into it. I know that the Canyon Center for Character Education is relatively new. Can you tell us a little bit about it, how it got started? Maybe some other items that we need to know about character education here at the college.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we opened a Canyon Center for Character Education in the College of Education at Grand Canyon University. We are hitting our 1 year mark this month in June of 2023, thanks to a very generous grant from the Kern Family Foundation.
Congratulations, 1 year already. Lots of work has already been done in a year. I can't wait to see what else you've got going on to bring into classrooms free of charge. Thank you to the Kern Foundation. So I know that you've got a lot to talk to us about specific to character education and how we can truly bring this into our classrooms as an administrator, as a support staff, as a substitute teacher. So talk us through where we're headed today and what we need to know as educators in the classroom.
Sure. So we're going to start today with a shift in mindset approach, just the overall high level overview of what character education is, the way that we are out there promoting it, the impacts character education can have, possible frameworks and methods to implementing, and then tools and strategies for teachers to use.
Great. We love tools, we love strategies, and we love it even more when we can use them immediately. So I'm looking forward to it. Tell us about your why in
Absolutely.
character education.
Yeah, so this image is a little bit about that shift in mindset approach, right? Character education is not a program, it's not a curriculum. Some might call it a process or an initiative. Essentially, it's a way of being. It's about being holistic and intentional in weaving the development of character into everything you do, the curriculum you already have, the extracurriculars, the school ethos, your relationships, your connections, and your entire school community.
Wow. Yeah. And that's so essential. It's who we are and what we do. It's not another program that, the school brings in or, you have to pay for. It's who you are. And being your authentic self, I find is so important in the classroom. Sometimes we don't always think or trust our authentic self. And I think this is what I'm really looking forward to hearing. How do I do that? So tell me how I do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get into the strategies, I'll share a little bit about the impacts because it is important to highlight the research behind this. We're not just throwing out some idea, but there's extensive research, which we can provide the citations, I think, in the show notes. But essentially, if you implement character education in this way, it can greatly impact students in a multitude of ways. They have more positive behavior. You have less behavior issues in the school. Their academics will increase and improve, and they'll be more career ready. But also for staff among the school, there's more retention, more motivation, and overall happiness when they're at work.
And who doesn't love overall happiness? So the research here has really shown light, or kind of just shined that light on how retention happens, and that's through that, maybe that authentic character initiative that is really just a part of your school and building that mindset. So I'm looking forward to reading that research, and yes, we'll put it in the show notes for sure. So tell me a little bit more about human and societal flourishing.
Right. So these are the frameworks and models that you can consider. And again, we have a lot of great resources. These will be provided as well on our Success Center that we're going to provide a link to, and you can see these flyers with more in-depth information. But our center has developed a framework for purposeful cultures of character and how to do that. And so the domains of our framework start with individual learning. We have to know who we are and where our character came from and our ideals, because we are going to be modeling and teaching that character. And we all come from different experiences and backgrounds. And so our perception of different virtues varies. And so we have to fully understand that. So that's the individual learning piece, reflection, and diving deep into your own moral values. Then the next domain would be leading with character. So this involves building strong relationships, having a strong mission and vision with core values, defining that and having a shared language among your stakeholders, and then considering your strategic plan for embedding and weaving into all that you do. And then we have a domain about serving with character. What does this look like in classrooms and with service learning with students? And these aspects of the classroom, then on the right-hand side here, this COT-SOT model. We got this from the Jubilee Center for Character and Virtues out of the University of Birmingham, which is a lead center in the field of character education. So essentially, character can be caught through our modeling and our intentional discussions about character, and it can be taught through explicit lessons, interactions, discussions, and then hopefully the character is sought by students with opportunities for them to demonstrate their moral virtues.
You know, I just recently we had Jake White from Vibe 18 on our webinar, and he travels the country in an assembly format, really working on students who are not interested in drugs and alcohol, but they want that social connection. And he really mentioned this concept of caught behavior. Like, when students hear you speak in class, they listen very clearly, even if you're not talking to them. So if you're talking about, you know, letting off steam or something like this that is not productive, maybe it doesn't have to do with productive values, they're catching that. So I'm interested in this, and I'm going to go back over to the other side of the screen here in the human and societal flourishing up at the beginning, where we talked about individual learning. So if I'm hearing you correctly, I want to say that individually, we have to know who we are and we have to honor who we are. I think that's a tough part too. Yeah, we all have different backgrounds, but I think if we honor who we are, we're more likely to honor others who come into our classrooms that do have very different backgrounds, oftentimes from the moral character that we've been raised with. Am I on the right track there, Dr. Betkowski?
Absolutely, yes. And then when you connect that to your modeling of that, you have to understand what you're putting out there, because the students are catching that character whether we want them to or not. So we need to be more intentional at what we're putting out there. And sometimes our own beliefs need to be reserved for ourselves, where other times it would be valuable to impart on others.
And so that makes a lot of sense when you say, and then they're taught, because once we know, and it's a piece of that mindset and that leading with change and serving with character, then we can intentionally teach. So they catch the behavior, we teach what we really want them to know explicitly, and then hopefully they seek it out on their own. I want to say that as a language teacher, whether it's coding language or world language, there's this part where you learn kind of the structure of the language, but you don't speak. I just said speak, and that's a present tense indicative verb, right? It becomes who we are and what we do, but explicitly teaching the verb might help me really solidify it. So is that a metaphor that you might be able to get by with character education?
Yes, absolutely. And you build that language through that modeling and that explicit lesson, but then you also tie it into all the other things that you're doing around the school, around the campus, into your other lessons. It can be brought into history or art class. And so when students consistently see this same shared language and they have opportunities to practice it and discuss it throughout their school day and over and over and over again, then they internalize that virtue through habituation.
I love it. And then the habituation, like, so when we're working with AI or if we're in Chat GPT, to have those conversations about how might we use this ethically and morally.
Yes, absolutely.
Fascinating. Tell me about strategies because I'm all about this.
Right, right. So when we're thinking about those classroom connections and how do we model, how do we teach character, these are some of the strategies, some examples, practical applications, which also our framework does go over some of these. We have other resources for them as well. But when modeling, intentional modeling, you have to have strong relationships. You want to build that safe place for your students because they need to feel comfortable with who you are so that they want to catch the character from you and from their peers. And there are teachable moments. Sometimes students are great role models for other students. And so bringing about that conversation about when did this person display honesty and how did they do it? Why did they do it? That can also be done for other teachers on campus or other staff members. Everyone who comes in contact with students has an opportunity to be a model of character. And so having those strong relationships, letting them feel comfortable and trusting you, giving them a safe space, and then intentionally modeling and talking about the modeling so that you don't just show up and expect that I'm a wonderful person, everyone's going to be like me because I'm modeling it, right? But thinking through it and having those conversations about what it is and why it is. And then teaching it
Okay.
through literature, discussions, history, events, debate, discussions. These things, there are many, many characters throughout literature or exemplars throughout history, or even the opposite of exemplars in history. And
Yes.
gives you opportunity to discuss those virtues that are present or not present and how it might differ for someone else or from
The
different perspectives.
the Luke Skywalker versus the Darth Vader.
Right,
Got
right.
it.
A wonderful game we like to play in different trainings are hero, victim, and fool. And you take one person, and what are your perspectives? Is this a hero, a victim, or a fool, and why? And it really brings about great conversations and perspective taking.
Love it. Love it. And allows students to have some agency and some choice in the discussion. Thank you. That's great.
Absolutely, which also can happen in role play or dilemma analysis. Give them the opportunity to share their perspectives. That ties to those relationships. They need that safe space to feel comfortable with sharing their perspectives, but also they need to have this is a great opportunity, a teachable moment to discuss what does this look like if we do have a debate or dialogue, right? What's the difference between the two? How can we hear and respect our difference of opinions without discrediting them? We all have different perspectives. So how do we hear it, understand it, and be kind to one another as we're doing that? It's opportunity to learn virtues not only through the discussion and dialogue, but in preparation for it.
And I always highly recommend this. This is very social emotional learning where students need to understand how we help each other feel about content is really as important to our emotional intelligence than our cognitive intelligence. So if you're going to solve a problem together, knowing how to honor and respect one another in mutual conversation, ideation, and iteration is truly important. So I love that you have that. Yeah. And I like that you're couching it within the frame of discipline, of being able to manage those conversations. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are those teachable moments, right? And what teacher doesn't already incorporate some type of cooperative learning strategies? And that's an excellent opportunity to talk about that collaboration and what it's like to work in a community, which builds those virtues for life later on. We don't want them to just have these virtues just in school because it's a school rule to be respectful. But what does this look like in real life, in communities, in jobs? And that ties to that career readiness. And then the last strategy is fitting it into the content and curriculum that you already have. You don't have to bring in extra lessons or units or curriculum, but instead thinking strategically about what am I teaching next and which virtues can I highlight, discuss, or elaborate on in this content.
Dr. Betkowski, this is really enlightening. And I feel like, especially that final piece that you end with, community building, fitting it in the culture and curriculum that's the piece, I think, that once we honor one another, and I know you said that earlier, that we need to honor ourselves and where we came from, what our moral character and virtues look like. But the more we have the dialogue in classrooms, the more it becomes a fit into our culture, and we start to really appreciate the other cultures that are coming in, especially in our classrooms today. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, I know you have some amazing strategies that we can take advantage of, like as early as right now. You've built so much in 1 year. I can't believe how much you've built in a year. Tell us a little bit about the resources that you have for us free of charge, and then we'll head over to your website so that we can check these out.
Yes, absolutely. So one of our initiatives as a center is to work with schools to help them implement character education, walk alongside them, provide them consultation, professional development, resources. So we've developed several informational flyers, training videos, a list of books that teachers can use at all grade levels that they're probably already using, but we've highlighted specifically what grade levels they align to and what virtues can be taught through that specific book. And you can find them all on our Success Center. We have a professional learning network that teachers, leaders can join to get additional research, blogs, character resources, and connect and collaborate with peers. And we also already created asynchronous professional development that we provide through the Canyon PD Solutions to Go website. They're called Leading with Virtue. They can be taken a la carte or all together. There are 7 courses, and they align to our framework to kind of give that background knowledge and understanding. And the participants will receive clock hours for taking the courses. They are really high level overview videos that are fun and engaging. And then you walk away with practical applications, examples of how to use this with your staff and with your students. They're super valuable, as you can see the pictures on the bottom there. And so I'm pretty sure those will all be in the show notes, but please do check them out because they're wonderful resources, all for free. You can also connect with us if you'd like to collaborate further and learn a little more.
Wow, this is so cool. So here's the College of Education Student Success Center, and all of these resources, folks, are linked. So this is just amazing that you have all of this that you can use in the classroom tomorrow, and it's very much available and ready and online. The frameworks, the research behind what you're doing, and all thanks to the Kern Foundation. So folks, you can see all of these pieces, and I'll make sure that they are all in the show notes. So the Student Success Center is just a wealth of knowledge. I really appreciate that you are making this this working for all of us. You've got different individuals here that have kind of voices from the field. So I would think that's testimonials from teachers who have been there. Yeah.
Absolutely, all different fields and contexts, and they're sharing their stories and experiences. And we're also open to nominations. If you know someone doing wonderful in the field of character education, we'd love to connect with them and learn more. But we really wanted to provide an avenue for you to learn from others. And so the Voices from the Field is a fabulous series.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to see all this myself. I haven't been able to really dig in. You also mentioned the synchronous platform, and that is something that we offer our Canyon PD Solutions to Go. But what's so neat about these courses is that they're all free, and they are all interactive, and especially exciting for, say, new teachers or someone who's really kind of new to the classroom, and how do I incorporate the character education into my classroom. All free, synchronous, easy to send your new teachers in there. Plus, folks, we have a lot more items, some free PD resources for you in other areas. But this character education is just amazing. So Leading with Virtue is what you look for in there at the Canyon PD Solutions to Go website. Folks, I don't know about you, but I know I took away so much, especially these strategies and very specific resources that I can click on and use in the field tomorrow. Lesson plans and unit plan templates. How fantastic to add the character education directly into our lessons made by the College of Education here at Grand Canyon University. Dr. Betkowski, I thank you so much for taking this topic and bringing it to our educators. I believe that the Canyon Center for Character Education is exactly where we need to start the conversation with AI and ChatGPT and so many other tipping points in education today. And this is where we all should start. Our authentic who we are, how we show up every day, and how we honor one another. So thank you for being with us today. And thank you for all the hard work you've been putting into this over the past year. We know it's just going to get better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today.
We appreciate you all being here with us today. Don't forget to connect with us on your favorite social media platform, and absolutely check out more Wednesday webinars here at Canyon PD. You again, Dr. Betkowski. Until next time.
Thank you.